Hey, welcome to
The Open Tabs Podcast.
my name's Joe,
My name's Billy.
and we're just going to stand here and talk about stuff or sit here and talk about stuff. Yeah, we're just going to talk about stuff. All right. So I thought we'd start with a brief introduction. So it's interesting, and I don't know if more people have this or not, but I think it's really rare for people to have friends, like good, close friends that they hang out with beyond, like from high school. And so that's kind of one of the things I think is really fun about our relationship is we've known each other in these different stages of life. And we've always been friends, even though we like lost touch while I lived in California forever. Like once I moved back here to Georgia, like we reconnected and we're like best friends now. And so, and we have a very similar sense of humor or lack thereof. I don't know if it's a sense of humor or not, but so I thought it'd be fun just to introduce ourselves by reminiscing a little bit about our high school past. So let's see, we were in high school together for like 25 minutes, but then we were also in the same youth group for like 3.5 years at church. So what is your fondest memory of when we were hanging out in high school?
The first one that comes to mind, and I don't know if I would use the word fond.
Jeez.
We ended up going on a double date to prom.
That's just awesome.
I haven't thought about that in a long time. So
awesome.
here's how the story goes. At the time, the hangout was IHOP there in Snellville, Georgia. And when I say the hangout, many of us from our group of friends were there every day or multiple times a week. I was there the most. It was just a season of life where I got to know the wait staff, and I was there. I was there after hours helping roll the silver. I was just always at this IHOP, but many of us were. And so we knew all of the wait staff. There was a new waitress that started, and right out of the gate, we're being playful and joking with her and all this stuff, just being friendly. Well, she, through a friend type of thing, wanted to pass her phone number to me, which is strange because it's just strange. I don't know if anybody else in my whole life has ever wanted to give me their phone number unless, maybe I hit their car or something. But not for like a nice reason. And so the message came back to me that this waitress wanted me to ask her to the prom. Well, I was no longer a student at the school, but I was formerly a student at that school. And so I said, hey, Joe, that waitress at IHOP that just started on her first day wants me to take her to prom. Long story short, Joe and I, with the waitress from IHOP and from another friend, it was just friendly, the four of us decided to go to the prom. And Joe, what do you remember about that evening?
Okay, so I'm trying to remember. I remember, first of all, we went to this restaurant called the Grayson House, which is like a snooty restaurant in a place that doesn't exist anymore. Well, Grayson still exists, but it doesn't exist anymore. And one of us had kangaroo,
Yes.
and the other one had like some of their weird exotic meat. I can't remember what it was. I think you had kangaroo,
Yes.
and I had something else. And I tried your kangaroo because I was like, what are you going to do? You got to try kangaroo. So that's the one thing I remember. I don't remember the actual prom part of it at all. Like at all. So I actually liked a girl who was not allowed to date. She was too young to date. And so I took a friend of mine. And then what's funny is that same year, she had a boyfriend in like New York or something. And he came down to take her to prom. And I ended up taking her friend that I've never met to her prom. So it was like this weird swap thing that it's very confusing. But I just remember eating at the Grayson House and having kangaroo and whatever else weird meat that was. That's basically the highlight. Didn't you borrow our friend's Mustang?
I did.
Yeah,
I borrowed the Mustang. Yeah.
Me and my date my date and I were sitting in the back seat of like, it was one of the, nice, like, it was like a brand new Mustang, I think.
Yeah.
And we were sitting in the back of it. So that I remember too, is you borrowed the Mustang.
Yeah. And the prom itself was nothing noteworthy. It was in a ballroom at a hotel in downtown Atlanta. And true to the time, even though everyone is dressed so well, tuxedos and and ballroom gowns or whatever you would call. I don't even know the name of it. It's like this ghetto raunchy booty bumping rap, and all of the students are, it's not dancing. If you ask me, it's like grinding, and I'm just like, I don't get it now. I didn't get it then. I didn't dance to any of it. I just kind of like, what is happening? But and God bless her heart, that waitress, it was awkward, and we didn't know what to talk about. I mean, how good could it have been? Like, we just met.
I think she had never been to a school dance or a prom before, so that was part of it. Was like, you were kind of helping her like realize her dream of going to a prom for the first time. What's funny about that, now I think about it, was, didn't we end up at IHOP afterward?
Yes.
Yeah, we closed off the night at IHOP, which had to be super fun for her. Like,
absolutely.
She's like,
absolutely.
Hey, can we go to your work and get some pancakes? Is that okay? The kangaroo wasn't quite enough. Can we go get some pancakes after this? Oh, what a crazy event. I'd forgotten all about that. Like, I'd totally forgotten that we did that until you said something. IHOP was so fun.
I wonder if there's any pictures of
there's
that
gotta
night.
be. We need to
there's
ask.
Got to be somewhere.
My date, who we won't say her name out loud. I don't know why we wouldn't say her name out loud, but just because we don't have permission. We should ask her if she has pictures, because I bet she does.
I would love that. If we find a picture and we get permission, then we'll come back on a future episode.
Yeah,
and
maybe we can have her. Maybe we can have that friend on with us. That would be so fun.
That would be fantastic. That would be fantastic.
Okay, so my favorite, it's a fond memory mostly. It has a little bit of a little twinge at the end. So do you remember, we used to do this stupid thing where we would take our guitars to random public places and play music. And we did that at Brewster's in Snellville. And we got a bunch of tips one night from the staff at Brewster's. They like tipped us out as we were playing music. And they were really, and I was like, no way, we got paid for this, right? And so that, I think, led us to trying to play at a gas station, like a gas station island thing, which did not turn out well. It was raining. And I think we like played in a Walmart or something. But what I remember was the next morning I went home and you used the tips to buy breakfast. And I was like, what?
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I owe you breakfast.
No, it's
with
fine.
Interest. I owe you 1,100 breakfasts.
Oh, that's funny. No, it's fine. But that was like, I loved that, because that's one of the things we played at a bunch of places. You were always kind of like willing to jump in and just, let's go randomly play guitar and djembe at, ice cream store, or hey, let's load up your stepdad's van and go play a big show at a coffee shop. I don't know why we were doing that. It didn't make any sense, but I remember it was fun. That was some of my fondest memories, were us playing together, for sure. So you're kind of new into this podcast production piece, right? So
real quick, I'm a second late because I'm just still learning this, but let me just flash a little walk down memory lane that from this era.
Good Lord. Well, that's right. I had you take album cover pictures for me at Stone Mountain because you had a good camera. I don't even know what to say about that.
Look at the baby face.
I don't even know what to say about that. I had hair, Billy. I had hair. Oh, man. Boy. I'm not good at things like that. I'm glad you had that picture handy. I'm also a little mortified that you had that picture handy. Okay, so sorry, I didn't mean to jump over, but on to the next thing, getting into podcasting. You're actually on another podcast, right?
Yes, technically, as in we started a week ago. So for me, 2 new podcasts starting in the same month.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, why not? Because everybody's starting a podcast, so why not us?
Why not start 2?
That's right.
I had a podcast several years ago that I started kind of like during COVID, but I realized that I was like trying to be an authority on something that I have no business being authority on. And so I just kind of stopped making it, because I was like, first of all, I sound like an arrogant piece of crap on the podcast as I listen back to it now. Even though I thought it was, the information was good, but the way I delivered it was very like, I don't know, self-serving, I guess. And then I realized it was about being a dad. And I realized I'm not actually like a great dad. Like, I'm not like the kind of dad that you look up to. maybe I am to some people, but not to everybody. Like, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, well, this is dumb. I'm not going to do this anymore. So I realized I want to do something that's just fun and conversational and stupid, and we can do stupid things, sometimes ironically. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Yeah. Which reminds me, today's sponsor. Today's sponsor, I'm going to read
Wait, we have a sponsor already?
We do, yes.
Our podcast is exactly 11 minutes old, and we already have a sponsor?
We do, yes.
This is amazing.
Yeah. I'm going to read the obligatory that sounds conversational blurb about our sponsor today. This episode of the Billy Joe Show is brought to you by The Past. That's right. The Past is the ever-present friend, reminding you to use a pot holder or turn the power off before you change a light switch. Sometimes fond, but always gone. You can't live there, but people sure do try, especially when you're arguing late at night with your spouse and they want to remind you of all the things that you've done that they've forgiven you for, even though right now it doesn't really seem like it. The Past, fun to visit. Unless your childhood was traumatic, then it's more of just a part of you that you don't think about. Anyway, if you'd like to try The Past, simply close your eyes and mentally visit thepastbites.com/BillyJoe. That's thepastbites.com/BillyJoe. Thepastbites.com/BillyJoe for 20% off your exclusive trip down memory lane. That's it.
Wow. I don't know if I should give my credit card or if I should burst into tears, or maybe a little of both.
Yeah. That's our fake sponsor topic. There we go. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so to the main topic for today. You and I both fall into a category of individuals that is neither millennial nor Gen X. So we've talked about this before. There's a between generation of people born from 1979 to 1984 called the Xennial generation. And there's Facebook groups and podcasts and all that kind of stuff about it. I thought about, like, could this be a podcast about it? But I don't think I know enough about it to make a full-on podcast about it. But I wanted to talk about it because something occurred to me the other day, and that is the Xennial generation is more like a spectrum. I'm pretty sure it's like a spectrum. So there's, like, if you think of X on the left side, millennial on the right side, there's a spectrum of how close you are to either one. So, like, my wife, super millennial, right? And actually she was born in 86, so she's square in the middle of the millennial. But to her credit, she's still got some Gen X. She's got Gen X work ethic, I think. But it's a spectrum, and I think a big factor in where you fall on the spectrum, less than years, is like the income in your childhood. So, like, how much money your parents made as a kid. And here's why I think that. What defines the millennial generation for you?
Well, if I were to, off the top of my head, I would just think the years that you were born. That's typically how I've seen the different types of generations defined. But it varies depending on where you look and who you ask. And I don't think that's, to your point, I don't think that's a fair on its own line to draw, because there are people who were born in my year or a year before or after with a different upbringing that are, like, totally different. I grew up in we weren't poor, but we were a step away from it. So definitely a different upbringing than somebody at the same time, who's got, family that's well-to-do and has resources and the toys and gadgets and all that took me that many more years to eventually come across. So
yeah, and I think you touched on it. It really comes down to the stuff, right? Like, what is the stuff that you were surrounded by? Because millennials are really they're touted as, like, analog childhood, digital adulthood, right? But even that's not super accurate, because there's certain digital things that everybody had by the time they were in the 90s, right? Typically speaking, maybe not. But, like, I do think it has to do with, like, what you had access to. So, like, I feel like you're closer to Gen X if, like, let's say your parents didn't ever have a flip phone, right? Like, I don't remember flip phones existing until I knew that they existed. I saw people that had them, but I didn't know anything about them until I was out of high school, right? So, like, I had a cell phone my senior year of high school, but it was just one of those, candy bar Nokia phones, like the free one you got when you signed up for Bell South. And also we were talking about this. What's the thing, the most defining characteristic of how old you are with regard to cell phones? Do you remember what we talked about the other day?
Well, certainly if the cell phone came in a bag. What came in a bag, not like I bought it and they gave me a plastic bag to carry it home. No, like my mother and stepfather had their first mobile phone, and it was a pouch, like a cloth bag pouch thing that was installed between the seats in the car, like in the center console.
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
it had a handset with a wire that went to the pouch.
Yeah.
And don't even try to use it while you're driving. You need to stop and see if you have a signal, and then good luck. And it was a super expensive per minute sort of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember well, not my first car, my second car had a built-in phone like that, a car phone. We called them car phones even. And it was stick shift. So I don't even know how it was my grandma's car. I don't even know how she used that. Like, I don't even know what that was like, but I remember I turned it on and I was like, this is cool. And then she got a bill because it was like pay as you go. She got a bill just from me turning it on. They like sent her a bill. And I was like, oh crap. She's like, don't turn that on ever again. But it had the cord attached. And I actually got, I remember like the security guard at the high school when I tried to park in the senior lot. He was like, you can't park with your car in here. It's got a cell phone in it. And I'm like, dude, it's a car phone. I can't take it out. He's like, well, you need to disconnect it. And I'm like, well, you got to be kidding me. So yeah, I do think it's access to technology. And I think obviously income plays a part in that. Like, I do think if you came out on the poverty side, of life, and I would say we were kind of like, we were lower middle class most of my childhood. Well, no, we were like below middle class most, like the first part of my life. And then in middle school, high school, I would say we were kind of like lower middle class, but like, it was so crazy to me, the things that kids had. I remember the first time, I think I was in 8th grade when I saw one of those, I think it was a Sony Ericsson phone where it was like this big, and it like flipped down. And I couldn't believe it because my mom didn't have a cell phone at that point. There were no like any of that stuff. And I was like so shocked the phone could be that small. I mean, this was when people are still using the big bricks, like the big, but yeah,
the Zach Morris phone. Yeah.
Yeah. And you paid by the minute.
Yes.
And then remember when Nights and Weekends came out, that was like,
this was a game changer.
Yeah.
9:01 and buddy, I'm on the cell phone talking to everybody.
Friday at 9 p.m. dude. You're like, yep. Yeah.
Now to take it even a step before that, when I was maybe freshman in high school, the big thing was beepers, pagers.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't have the money to have one of those, but the way the style was, you had it in your front pocket with just the clip coming out of your front pocket. And that was the style. And so I bought just the case for the pager and put it in my pocket. Poser. There's nothing in there. There's no device. It's just an empty plastic case so that I could have the little clip sticking out of my front pocket. And then when I first am driving and I'm out and about, the other kids have, beepers and they can interact with, mom and dad or whatever it was. My mother, this is what we did because I didn't have the pager and I didn't have a cell phone yet when I first started driving. If I was going out on a Friday night, she wanted me to check in to tell her that I'm okay. But so that I wouldn't lose the quarter, or maybe it was 50 cents in the payphone, I would put the quarter or the 50 cents in the payphone. I would call the house, let it ring twice,
and then
hang up and get
your quarter back.
And she knew that 2 rings meant I'm okay. So I didn't even have to lose the quarter, and she didn't pick up and I didn't have to say any words. Absolutely a different time.
Did you ever do the collect call thing where you would go, you have a call from Mom, I'm at the movies. I'll see you at 10. Bye. Click.
Yes. Because you got like 3 seconds to say your name. Say it real fast. And even a couple years before that in middle school, my cousin Jennifer lived with us, just 2 years younger than me. And this is a time when we're on the phone talking to our friends. We have just a house phone. My mother, my stepfather, my cousin Jennifer, and myself. We all have to share this phone. And so we begged and pleaded to each have our own phone line. Well, that was too much money for us. No way are we going to have 3 landlines, one for the house, one for me, one for my cousin Jennifer. So instead, for a little bit of money, you could buy an additional phone number, but still have the same landline. And so the way that worked, I would give my unique phone number, and if somebody called that phone number, it would go ring, 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 ring.
That's
and
crazy.
then nobody in the house picks it up except
crazy.
me. Or if Jennifer gives out her number, it's ring, 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 3 rings. And then we know, so we don't have to pick, Jennifer, it's for you. We still have to share the same singular landline, but at least we have distinct numbers and rings.
That's pretty cool. I didn't even know that existed. That's phenomenal. I love that. Speaking of beepers, I can't believe I'm about to admit this. So I had a beeper, mainly because my mom gave me one. She is the kind of mom that wants to be in touch, right? So I had a beeper in 8th grade and 9th grade. I don't. This is so stupid. So I wanted to seem important to my friends, right? So sometimes I would go find a phone and I would beep myself with a random number so that it would go off around my. I was a loser, bro. I was a loser. I wanted to seem. I was pretty popular in my church friend group, but I was not popular at all. Now that I think about it, this is a really bad. I need to repent for this. But I was not popular at all in middle school, like in the school, and so I would beep myself at church, saying that my friends were beeping me, like a girl was paging me or something like that. Because who in 8th grade is paging their friends? Like what for? There's no reason to do that. Like you call them if they don't answer, you go.
Perception is key in those days.
Yeah. Oh man. I wanted so badly for people to page me who weren't my mom, but that never happened. It was just my mom who ever paged me, or me paging myself. Okay, so
we're all about authenticity on this podcast.
Right,
you know, good, bad, or ugly. We're keeping it real.
If my wife listens to that, she's gonna be like, "Oh boy, he really outkicked his coverage," which I did. I totally did. All right, so I would say I fell on the more Gen X side of the spectrum, to get back to it, because we just didn't have stuff. Like I didn't have a Power Wheels. I remember when Power Wheels were really big. I never had that. My kids have 3 because I wanted them to have it, because I wanted one so bad when I was little. But I didn't have a Power Wheels. We didn't have cell phones in our house. Like I could definitely tell there was a difference between my upbringing and the upbringing of some of my friends. And I think that puts me more on the Gen X side, right? Like your world was different. What do you think?
Yeah. Same with me. Our resources were really limited. And looking back, it actually kind of encouraged me to be more creative and even entrepreneurial. So as a middle schooler, without money and without all the gadgets that my friends and my neighbors had in our neighborhood, I found interesting out of the box ways to try to earn them. So in 7th grade, for example, we lived on a golf course, and so I would go and find golf balls in the woods or wherever, and I'd clean them and I'd resell them back to the golfers for $1.
Nice.
Then I put flyers out in all the mailboxes. Teen yard work. I was barely 13, but I'm a teenager. I qualify teen yard work. And I got a few takers to walk dogs, to feed dogs, to come and trim the hedges, whatever it was. I tried to find jobs locally on my bicycle when I was 14, and they said, we can't legally hire you. I tried so hard, trying to just make a buck so I could have some of these gadgets, but it kind of encouraged me to be more creative. My biggest thing was Radio Shack. Radio Shack was a thing. And
Radio
this was,
Shack.
This is where you could go and just get electronics and whatnot. And I ended up, because where I lived at the time, as the crow flies, I was about a quarter mile from a busy interstate. And so I got a CB radio, which is normally just a radio that's in 18-wheelers. But I got one in my bedroom. And I put an antenna on the house. And so 24 hours a day from my bedroom, I could talk to the truck drivers. And my voice hadn't deepened yet. And so what did I do? I sounded like a girl. And I would talk to the truck drivers, and my handle was Blue Eyes. Hey,
oh, boy.
So anything to entertain myself. So it was fun. It was a good time.
Oh man, I loved Radio Shack. I could easily go spend hours in a Radio Shack or a Best Buy or a Circuit City. Loved it. Okay, so I am one of the things that I always share with you is Madlibs from my kids. Can I share you a Madlibs that they did recently?
Please do. And tell us what are Madlibs?
So Madlibs, if you don't know what Madlibs are, they're like the thing where they give you they ask you to fill out an adjective or a noun or a plural noun or something. And then you fill that information out and then they put it into a story. And so I do these with my younger boys every couple of nights. During bedtime we'll do them. And so the other night, you can kind of tell where my boys are at. They're 8 and 11. You can probably guess which one uses which words here. And this one is all of them. I didn't put anything in. So this is a story called The Roar of the Crowds. You can get this app if you want. Not that they sponsored anything, but you can get this app if you want. And it's called The Roar of the Crowds. Here it goes. It used to be the fans just stood up in their butt cracks and yelled annoyed words to their team. Today, all universities and even professional Frosties have cheerleaders. The male cheerleaders wear pants and 6'7" sweaters with their school verse written across them. Female cheerleaders wear fluffy sweaters, fat skirts, and on their bare words, nightmares and sneakers. I don't know what that, maybe it's supposed to be legs. I don't know. Before the game starts, the cheerleaders run onto the field, shaking their palm behind quarters and turning jellyfish wheels. Then they hold, it's like messing up here. This is really funny. Then they hold fireflies to their butt cheeks and stir the crowd into a frenzy, yelling, "Yeah, yeah, mascot." So boys are quintessentially into the bathroom humor. So,
are we too old, or could we possibly in a future episode do a Mad Lib on the podcast?
I would love that. That would be amazing. That we could get ones that are a little bit more. Well, I don't want to say adult oriented. That's not what I mean, but you know what I mean. Maybe yes. fun stories. There's actually the Jimmy Fallon show. They do this thing called Mad Lib Theater where they act out scenes with Mad Libs. It's really funny. Maybe we could do something like that. All right. Well, it's a work day and I actually have a meeting that starts in like 7 minutes. So we should probably wrap this thing up. How about we wrap it up with a few rapid fire knock jokes? Do you have any knock jokes that you like?
The one that my father told me over and over and over my whole childhood, the only one he ever knew. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Jamaica.
Jamaica who?
Jamaica called to your mama today?
Okay, I have a couple here. Let's see. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Dishes.
Dishes who?
This is a great time to tell you a knock joke. So stupid.
You messed it up. No. You messed. Correcting your friend's joke is so rude, and I'm going to do it anyways. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Dishes.
Dishes who?
Dishes Sean Connery.
Okay, that's better. I'm reading these, so I didn't make these up. All right, knock knock.
Who's there?
Tank.
Tank who?
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you. Got it.
Oh, that one's stupid too. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll wrap this up. Billy, I just got to know, will you remember me tomorrow?
I never seem to remember the things I've forgotten, so...
Will you remember me like in an hour?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
You already forgot who I am.
I'm sorry. Remember Joe.
This is I don't know if I want people to watch this episode or not, to be honest, because I don't, it's going to be weird. There's going to be a weird eclectic following. Let's just hope.
I love that.
Fingers crossed.
Let's find our people. Let's let our people find us.
Yeah, that's right. All right, buddy. Well, I'm signing off. I got to go do a meeting because adults have to work and that kind of sucks. But it is what it is. Thanks for hanging out.
Absolutely. And if you guys have watched this far, thank you. And we apologize.
Yeah, for sure.
Until next time.
Okay, bye.
Toodaloo.
Bye.